Here at the Frazier, we pride ourselves on sharing the stories that matter to people of Kentucky and to people of the world. And we have teaching artists who thrill our audiences every day with live performances, allowing our visitors to step into history.
Colonel Robert Gould Shaw. He's most well known as the white officer in charge of the 54th Massachusetts Regiment. The 54th Massachusetts is one of the very first volunteer black regiments formed by the Union during the Civil War. Many people said, the colored soldier will not fight. He will not volunteer. He's a coward. You never would have known it. 4th of March, there were 150 men in my camp, and they came in pretty fast. Several of them were well drilled, acting sergeants. They drilled their squads with a great deal of snap. We had them washed, uniformed, examined, sworn in as soon as they arrived. And when those men got into their buttons, they seemed to feel as good as a man can. Their barracks, better order, more cleanly than the barracks of any volunteer regiment I have seen in this country. And you know, from the very day that this regiment was organized, not a single person connected with it talked extravagantly or boasted in any way. We went about our business. Let those outsiders say what they chose.
The gunfight at the OK Corral stands as one of the legendary events in the history of the American West. For this interpretation, we have chosen to explore the story of Wyatt, Virgil, and Morgan Earp and their friend Doc Holliday through a different perspective, a female perspective. Doc Holliday's longtime companion, Kate Elder. Perhaps I was in Tombstone that day with the idea that I could save Doc, as I had in Griffin. I've mentioned his temper, haven't I? Well, he lost a card game against a cheater, and the result was a knife in the man's ribs. Doc was skilled at the quick draw, and the man never saw it coming. Doc was hauled off to jail to await trial, but we both knew the lynch mobs would get him first. I had to do something, so I waited until nightfall, prepared some supplies, dressed like a man, and set fire to a row of sheds behind the jail. Now, when the guards ran out to fight the flames, I went in to get Doc. One lawman was left inside, a crooked lawman who would turn Doc over to the lynchers in a heartbeat.
Progressive reformers intended for prohibition to eradicate the harmful effects of alcoholism on families, society, and industry. But with nationwide prohibition came several unforeseen consequences. I bet you want to know how we got the goods here. Well, back there is a kitchen which connects to a system of tunnels, which was sometimes used by postboys to deliver mail in the winter. I took a lot of pride in being able to offer the best to my customers. From the best local distilleries, A. Philip Stitzel, Brown Foreman, T.L. Weller. Of course, the variety wasn't as good back then, but by experimenting with different mixtures, we found that we could create a flavorful selection of drinks, including our Silbach cocktail.
Most people haven't heard of Colonel John Floyd in this area, which is kind of a pity because Floyd's Fork, Floyd Station, Floyd County, Kentucky, all named for Colonel John Floyd. He was a surveyor in the 1770s and 1780s. I have this minute returned from a little excursion against the enemy. My party, 27 in number, are dispersed and cut to pieces. Only 9 men came off the field. Captain Sturgis mortally wounded, Mr. Ravenscroft taken prisoner by the side of me. Another small party was ambushed near the same place not 2 days ago. Now I demand satisfaction. I need 100 men. That number with what I can raise, that will do. I begin to be greatly discouraged on account of our defenseless situation. The Indians constantly pecking at us. And in a few short weeks, the small number of inhabitants here will be invaded on all sides by them.